Hey, what's up guys, it's Renaldo here. So this video is going to focus on how companies are cancelling sponsorships because the individuals are standing up against any form of violence. That's right. So apparently if you are against gun violence and just violence, then these companies don't want to be associated with you. Now, what am I talking about? Well, let's have a look. So the Kiffness just lost a 500k campaign because I defended Charlie Kirk. Worth it, to be honest. Now, this is blowing my mind, but let's look at the screenshot of the email that he received. Hi blank, I'm writing in place of blank as managing partner of blank. After careful consideration, we regret to inform you that we must terminate the Kiffness's contract with blank effective immediately. This decision has been made in light of recent social media activity which poses a reputational risk to both our agency and our client's brand. We cannot continue an association that may be perceived as an endorsement of views inconsistent with our values or our client's positioning. So let me get this straight. The Kiffness standing up against gun violence, against the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and saying that people should not be killed because they have opinions that differ from you. Because of that values that you are talking about, you are not going to sponsor him and you've cancelled the sponsorship. So what exactly do you stand for? Do you stand for violence? Do you stand for people that use violence to kill people that are otherwise just peacefully wanting to engage? Because we all know what happened to Charlie Kirk. We all know that it was a woke leftist with a transgender boyfriend that is transitioning into a girl that was so upset with what Charlie Kirk had to say that he decided to go onto a building and assassinate him with a rifle. So what exactly is your values that is inconsistent with the Kiffness? Because the Kiffness is one of the most vanilla people when it comes to politics. And I say that with the utmost of respect. The Kiffness, first and foremost, is an artist. And secondly, he will comment on stuff that is going on in South Africa or the world. Now, it is no secret that the Kiffness is a big Christian. And so was Charlie Kirk. And what happened to Charlie Kirk, I think most people around the world can condemn what happened to him. You don't need to be a rocket scientist. You don't need to be on the left or on the right. You don't need to be religious. Being killed for just wanting to debate peacefully, that can never ever be acceptable. So this company decided to end the Kiffness's contract with a client that they represent because they felt that the values of the Kiffness doesn't align with the values of them and their client. Well, maybe it's good that the Kiffness is not getting this contract, but it just blows my mind that the Kiffness made a video in which he pretty much said the following. What happened to Charlie Kirk is unacceptable. We should never ever resort to violence. We should continue to communicate with one another, and if we disagree, we should disagree respectfully. That in essence was the video. Now, that video is what made this agency decide to cancel the sponsorship with the Kiffness. So, I know that the Kiffness will probably never reveal this information, but I want to know who this agency is and I want to know who this company is so that I indirectly do not support this company. Because this company and the agency made it quite clear that if you stand up against violence and for peaceful discussions or debate, then that is not in line with their worldview. So is their worldview violence? I mean, it just blows my mind that this is what is considered acceptable by this agency and the company. Now, I have asked the Kiffness to tell me who they are, and he is saying no, it is not his place and he doesn't want to cause damage to the agency or to the company, and I can respect that. The Kiffness is a far better individual than I am, that's for sure. But I still think that we need to know at least then who the agency is, because the agency is the one that is saying, oh, you know, we cannot stand with you standing up for Charlie Kirk. And mainstream media has warped Charlie Kirk to such a point that people that actually don't know who he is might think that he's the Antichrist, when in actual fact, this is an individual that professionally and respectfully debated with people on abortions, on politics, on his religion, and on the LGBTQI plus community. Ironically, there is actually a video where he debates with a white supremacist that is anti-gay and believe that they should be kicked out of all organizations. And Charlie is actually the one that says, no, there's something wrong with you. We should never ever condemn people for what happens behind closed doors. So the perception of that people have of Charlie Kirk is so warped because mainstream media has painted him as this insane person. But, talking about mainstream media, as soon as the Kiffness uploaded or posted that thing, then Briefly, which, I don't know what you need to do to become a journalist for Briefly. I think you just have to have a pulse and an IQ that might just be in the double digits. But Briefly came out and had the following to say. The Kiffness allegedly caught in a lie over the 500,000 Rand campaign deal. Controversial musician The Kiffness was allegedly caught in a lie over the 500k campaign deal. The muso claimed that the deal tanked due to his support for slain activist Charlie Kirk. A netizen, who claims to work with big brands called his bluff, sparking a debate amongst netizens. And then I don't know. Ultimately, what has happened is that they are now saying that the Kiffness is lying. I mean, I'm not sure what benefit there is for the Kiffness to lie about something like this. But I have to say that Briefly, and I mean, they are the same people that wrote very negative things about me as well, that didn't even contact me for comment. They just ran with the story when they heard one of their friends or people that follow Briefly made a comment. So, I mean, ultimately what happened though is the following, and I mean, this is just golden because the Kiffness responded to the article and said, are you sure you want to go down this path? And before you know it, oops, the page cannot be found. This page either does not exist or it is currently unavailable, or it might have expired, or there could be a typo. Blah, blah, blah. They chickened out because they knew that they once again got caught in a lie, and instead of people just keeping quiet and not saying anything, the Kiffness stood up and then they immediately removed it because they are cowards, like I said. I don't know, the journalist, if you're a journalist working for Briefly, get a real job. No, seriously, get a real job, please. So to conclude this video, it's sad that we're living in a time where standing up for peace, standing against violence, is something worthy of cancelling a contract that you are, assigned to. Now, I think that the Kiffness has got a very solid court case here because firstly, I would like to know if the actual company that the agency represents knows that they cancelled the Kiffness's contract. And I would love to get their opinion on whether they believe this agency made the right decision. I would also love to know who this agency is because ultimately they seem to be very anti Charlie Kirk and clearly don't know who he was. But ultimately what it boils down to is that you in 2025 as an influencer can't even sympathize with somebody that was brutally assassinated, because if you do that, then you can lose contracts like the Kiffness did that was worth R500,000. Think about that. He lost a contract worth 500,000 Rand because he stood for what is right. He stood for principle. He stood for what any God-fearing human being would consider acceptable. We're not supporting violence. Let's never ever resort to violence. Let's always debate peacefully. And as a thank you for what he said there, he lost a contract worth 500,000 Rand. This world's gone bonkers, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what? I will say this every single time I have an opportunity. Mainstream media is to blame, because mainstream media creates these monsters that people decide to hate on purely because The editor and the journalists have got an agenda against these individuals. It's no secret that the woke leftist mainstream media in South Africa, like the Daily Maverick, like News 24, hates the Kiffness. And they will use any opportunity to go off at him. And the fact that he just lost this massive sponsorship just speaks to where we are, not only as a country, but where we are as mankind, where condemning violence could mean that you lose a contract. I mean, I simply just can't anymore. Like, we seriously need to relook at who and what we are if we think that this is acceptable. So ultimately, I'm really sorry that the Kiffness lost this contract. He does not deserve it. He is one of the nicest people you will ever meet, that does not want to offend, that does not want to hurt somebody, always debates in the most respectable manner, and yet this happened to him. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to subscribe, share this video far and wide. Don't forget to smash the like button. And if you enjoy my content, please consider becoming a member. You can do so by clicking the join button below. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Till later. Cheers and peace out.
You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre.